Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be dedicated to current users of SiteGround and other users who might want to start hosting their websites with SiteGround. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you an updated tutorial on how to navigate your way around the back end, or what you might call the site tools of SiteGround. Basically, everything you see here on the left hand side, I'm going to walk you through everything: how to work with the file manager, how to create FTP accounts, how to work with backups, install SSL, work with the HTTPS enforce tool. We'll talk about caching, CDNs, how to install WordPress, how to create subdomains, how to create staging copies of your website, work with the DNS zone editor, pretty much everything you see in here. There might be one or two features that I won't talk about in detail because they're a bit advanced. That'll be for advanced users, but the vast majority of all the features and tools available to you as a SiteGround user, I'm going to cover everything. Now, I'm uploading this video on 8th of September 2022. Currently, right now, there is a promotion on SiteGround where you can get all their hosting at very huge discounts. So if you're watching this video at the time when this discount is still available, it's called the Back to Business sale. So if you're watching this video at the time when this promo is still on, I would highly recommend that you take advantage of this promo and get yourself some SiteGround hosting. And by the way, if you do intend to get SiteGround hosting, please do use my affiliate link in the box below. What that means is that when you buy SiteGround hosting with my link, I will get a small commission. So it's a great way to support me and support what I'm doing here on the channel. Let me also quickly mention that I will be working with a temporary domain to show you how all these features and tools work. But don't worry, the fact that it's a temporary domain does not mean that you cannot do the exact same things on your main domain. Okay, so don't worry, everything I'm going to show you, you can do exactly the same thing on your main domain. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. Alrighty, so let's get started. And the first thing I want to do is to walk you through the different types of web hosting packages that they have, and also the ones that you should consider going for. If you go right here on the homepage under hosting, you're going to see web hosting, WordPress hosting, WooCommerce hosting. All these three are basically the exact same thing. If you click on any one of them, you'll get the exact same kind of packages. Now, cloud hosting is different because this one isn't shared hosting. The other three involve shared hosting, where you basically share the exact same web server with other people around the world. With cloud hosting, you are hosting your website, your content in the cloud. So it's going to be a lot more efficient, a lot faster, but as a result, also a lot more expensive. Personally, I don't host cloud hosting with SiteGround. Not because they're not good, they're actually very, very good. It's just they're a little bit too expensive for me. I use Cloudways for my own cloud hosting. But going back to one of these three, web hosting, WordPress hosting, WooCommerce hosting is the exact same packages. I'm going to click on WordPress hosting as an example. In here, the three packages they will have, with the other two, would be Startup, Grow Big, and then Go Geek. Go Geek being the most expensive, but then right here you can see the comparison amongst the three plans. I would recommend for a start that you go with Grow Big. The one significant advantage Grow Big has over Startup is that, unlike Startup where you can only host one website with the hosting package, with Grow Big you have access to unlimited websites. So only go with Startup if, one, you are absolutely sure that you're not going to host another website, and then two, if for a start you don't expect to get too much traffic. So right now you can see it can handle only 10,000 visits monthly. So if you're sure that, hey, look, I just want to host one single website and then later on expand, get a bigger package, fine, you can go with Startup. But if you feel like, you know what, I'm going to host a couple of websites on my hosting package, I want something better, Grow Big would be the best option. Go Geek, being the most expensive, only offers you additional web space and can handle more traffic than the Grow Big. So again, I'll recommend you go with Grow Big first, and then later on, if you feel like, you know what, I'm getting plenty of traffic, my website is becoming very, very popular, you can then upgrade to Go Geek. So you click on Get Plan in here, and then you're going to have two options. If you have a domain that you already bought from a previous company, you simply come in here, you click on I already have a domain, and then you simply proceed from there. It is a very, very, very straightforward process. but the chances are you don't have a domain. So I'm gonna go with register a new domain, and right here I'm gonna type in something just ridiculous as an example. Okay, I'm gonna click on proceed, and then all I'll have to do from here is basically create my account with them, provide my client information, payment information, and then right here there is something very important in here: the data center. Some web hosting companies like SiteGround offer their clients the ability to choose their preferred data center. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a data center? What is the significance? The data center will indicate where the content of your website, your posts, your images, basically everything your website has, the data center will indicate where it will be physically located in. All your content is stored on a web server, and the data center will indicate where that web server will be physically located. So basically, the closer you are to your data center, the faster you will be able to retrieve the contents of your website. Right now, with SiteGround, you have access to one in the United States in Iowa, one in Asia with Singapore, you have Sydney, Australia, and then you've got 4 options in Europe, including London, Madrid, Frankfurt, and Netherlands. However, let me point out something very important. When choosing your data center, do not choose the data center that is closest to you physically. You want to choose the data center in a location that is closest to where you expect most of your web traffic to come from. As an example, okay, if I was physically located in the United States, but my website, I expect most of my traffic to come from Japan, in this scenario, I would choose my data location to be Asia, Singapore, because that's the closest location to Japan. So always prioritize the location where you expect most of your traffic to come from over where you are physically located. Of course, it will be fantastic if where you're physically located is also where you expect to get most of your traffic from. That would be the best scenario. But in scenarios where you expect most of your traffic to come from is different from where you're physically located, always choose a data center that is closest to where you expect the traffic to come from. I hope you understood that. So I'll go with Asia, Singapore, and then in here, you can go with 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, or 6 months. Is up to you. You've got extra services such as domain privacy and also the site scanner. Personally, these are good to have, but they're not necessary. You don't have to buy them. Domain privacy isn't the most important thing when it comes to security, to be honest. And then for the site scanner, you can install plugins out there, and there's some very good security products that you can install on your WordPress website to help you ensure that you don't get hacked and you don't have any malicious code. So again, you can choose both of them if you want, but they're not necessary. And then you simply come in here, you confirm that you've agreed to the terms and policy, and then simply click on pay now, and that's basically how you can get started with the web hosting. So now that you've gotten yourself the web hosting, you'll get in the email your username and your password. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply log in and show you what you can do. So right now I do have my username. I'm going to provide my password as well and simply log in to the actual backend of your SiteGround account. So let's wait for a second for this to load. And okay, so now this is basically the backend of your SiteGround account. Right in here, you'll see home, websites, services, and so on. Websites is basically where you would find the domain that you have registered. Now, in my case, you can see I have plenty of domain names in here, and I also have plenty of temporary domains as well. What exactly is a temporary domain? It's a domain you can just create from scratch, do whatever you want to do on that domain, and then later on delete it. Basically, you don't have to buy any domain name for such. As an example, right here, I can click on new website. Okay, right now I can choose to buy a second domain if I wanted to, or I can simply just select an existing domain that I already have, and of course I now have the temporary domain. For purposes of illustration, I'm actually going to go with the temporary domain so I can show you how you would install WordPress and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to click on select for temporary domain, And automatically SiteGround has created this domain name for me, alexandero52sg-host.com. Okay, and as you can see right now, it's free. Fine. I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. And then from here, you will see options like start a new website, or you can even migrate an existing website. For purposes, I'm going to go ahead and simply skip and create an empty site. It will ask you, hey, would you like to add the site scanner? No, I'm not going to do that. I'll just click on finish. And right now, SiteGround is basically creating the temporary website. It's going to take a few or a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and resume once the installation has completed. All right, welcome back. And as you can see right now, the site has been created. Now, if I was to go to the actual site itself, all I would see would be awesome site in the making. That's because even though the site has been created in SiteGround, we haven't actually installed WordPress yet. So to install WordPress, and by the way, if you want to install WordPress on your actual real domain, it's going to be the exact same process. Okay, you will see right next to your domain, you will see Site Tools right here. Click on Site Tools. And this will take you to the proper back end for your website, where you can do things like install WordPress, add SSL, and so on. Okay, now in here to install WordPress, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to WordPress, click on the link right there, and now you will see install and manage. I'm going to click on install and manage. And then right now I'll have the option of either installing just WordPress, or if I wanted to, I could go with WordPress and WooCommerce. I'm going to go with just WordPress. So I'll click on select. And then right here, we have the domain, language, installation path. You don't have to change anything in here. You can go with the defaults. And then you'll have the admin info, which would be your username and your password chosen automatically. And then the email, you can simply add your admin email right here. I'm going to add mine. Now you'll have this add-on for install with the WordPress starter. It's basically going to be like a startup wizard. Personally, I don't use it, so I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck that box. All right. And now I'll simply click on install. And this will take a few seconds. What I will do once again is I'll pause the video and resume once it has finished. Welcome back. And as you can see, WordPress has been installed on my temporary domain. And right here, you will now see manage installations. I have my domain. You'll have the installation WordPress, the current version that has been installed. And then in here, you have the actual actions. You will have the link in here that will take you straight to the admin panel. Or you can also click on the three dots in here. And right in here, you can do things like update your admin password. You can reset permissions as well. Disable all plugins, which is actually a fantastic feature, because sometimes you might have a plugin that causes issues on your website. You might get locked out or you can't log in. By simply coming in here and disabling all your plugins, you'll discover that you'll be able to fix the issue rather quickly. And then you can move the application to another database, or you can just choose to delete the application as well. And that's basically how you would install WordPress. Now, if I was to go ahead and view the site, this is basically what I am now going to get. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next class. Now that we've installed WordPress on our website, I want to show you how you can install SSL, which is the Secure Sockets layer. This is a very, very powerful layer of security, and even search engines like Google will give you extra points if you do have SSL installed. Now, right now, you can see that I do not have SSL because right in here on my browser, you can see it says not secure. Now, if I clicked in here, it would say things like, oh, you should not enter any sensitive information on this site because basically the data is not encrypted. So to get rid of this message and have the secure status instead, we have to install SSL. Now, how would we do this? I'm going to go back to my backend in here. All right. I'm going to come up here to security, click in there, and now you're going to see SSL manager. I'm going to click in there. All right. Now, right here, you can see my domain has again automatically been selected. Now to the right, which SSL do we want to go for? There is Let's Encrypt wildcard, and then there's the premium wildcard. Personally, you don't need premium wildcard. You can either go with the Let's Encrypt or the Let's Encrypt wildcard. What is the difference? if you're going to create subdomains on your domain, okay, your main domain, all right, you should go with the Let's Encrypt wildcard, because the wildcard will encrypt every subdomain under your main domain. But if you don't intend to have any subdomains, you can just go with the Let's Encrypt. But again, for demonstrative purposes, and because I'm going to show you how to create a subdomain, let's go with Let's Encrypt wildcard. All right, so I'm going to choose that one, and I'm just going to say get. This could take up to a minute, so what I'm going to do once again is pause the video and resume once the SSL has been installed. Alright, so as you can see right now, the Let's Encrypt SSL certificate has been installed. You can see it is active and it will expire about 6 months from now. Of course, you can always renew your certificates right in here under Actions. You simply click in here and then you will have the option right here to renew when the certificate has expired. But before we go back to the website, I want to show you a second feature, which is the HTTPS enforce. You click in here, and I want you to go ahead and activate the HTTPS enforce for your website. This will ensure that your website will always work with SSL, basically by force. All right. So right now, I'm going to go back to my domain in here, my website, and let me actually log into the backend. All right, and I'm going to provide my username and my password. And there you go. All right, so right now you may have noticed or may not notice, but up right here, you can see I now have the padlock in here. And if I click in there, it now says connection is secure. And basically, if I expand that, it says your information, for example, passwords or credit card numbers, is private when it is sent to the site. So basically, this is a confirmation that SSL is now active on my site. Now, if you still don't see the padlock in here, if you don't see that symbol, don't worry. Sometimes it may take up to like 5 or 10 minutes before your browser actually recognizes the fact that your website now uses SSL. But let me walk you through really quickly the backend since we're right now in here. Now, by default, when you install WordPress with SiteGround, you're going to get access to a couple of plugins. Let me show you what they are. So by default, you're going to get the SiteGround Optimizer plugin, which is for optimizing performance on your site. And you're also going to have the SiteGround Security plugin as well. These two by themselves are pretty good. They do a very, very decent job. But in all honesty, you do have more powerful plugins out there. Like for security, for example, you have plugins like Security and WordFence that are a bit better than SiteGround Security. For the optimizer, I would recommend you keep it. It's actually a pretty decent plugin to have for optimizing your web performance. So that's basically how to install SSL on your website. I will see you in the next class. Now that we've installed SSL on the website, I want to show you how you can create an FTP account. Of course, this is very, very, very crucial. You need FTP to be able to do a wide variety of things on your website. But how would you create an account? You want to go to Site. And before we talk about FTP accounts, let me just walk you through very quickly the file manager. You click in here, and right now you'll see the public HTML of your website. This is basically the primary folder containing every content on your site, basically all the code. So if I was to expand this right now, you would see I would have access to the WP content folder, which of course will have access to my plugins folder, the themes folder, and so on. That's basically what the file manager does. And of course, you can upload files in here, you can download files, you can edit files as well if you wanted to. But going back to FTP accounts in here, this is where you can simply create your FTP accounts. So right in here, you can add an account name. In my case right now, I'll just call this one the admin. Okay, admin FTP. Let me just use admin FTP. Of course, you can choose any name that you prefer. And then of course in here, I'll have my password as well, which is the same password that I used to create my account. And I'll simply go ahead now, click on create. And that's basically how you would create an FTP account. It's very, very, very simple. So right down in here, you can see I have my account name in here, the home path, and then the quota. And then right in here, of course, you can expand this and I can do things like access the FTP credentials. I click in there, and right now I have access to my host name, username, password, and then the port. So if I was to use any FTP software like FileZilla, for example, this is all the credentials I need to log into my site via FTP. Going back to the actions, of course, I can change the name, change the home, change the quota, change the password, and also delete the account as well. But that's basically how you can create FTP accounts on your site. Next, let's talk about backups, which is of course very, very important. And you would find backups in your security tab. Now I'll go in here, click on backups. But because this is a brand new site that I literally just created a few minutes ago, you can say that backups are not yet available. But to demonstrate how backups would actually work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the site I'm working on from the temporary one to something else. I'm going to click on changing here. And let me go with the 36. I believe I created this one quite a while ago. So let's wait for 36 to load. Okay. So now on the 36, the backups in here, I can choose to create a new backup. I can simply come in here and add the backup name. So let me just call this one test backup. Okay. Now, if you didn't know, the SiteGround actually offers you free daily backups, and you can actually access backups up until a month ago from the current date. So right now, if I was to scroll down here, you can see all the backups available for me. Today is the 7th of September, and if I was to go all the way down, let me load more. You can see I can access backups dating as far back as the 8th of August. So basically, you have access to 30 days of backups. So I can come in here right now, and I can create my own manual backup. So I can click on create, and that's basically what it's going to do. Backup creation in progress. This could take anywhere between 10 seconds and a minute. It all depends on how much content that you already have on your own website. In all honesty, I have never actually created a manual backup before, because I just realized that SiteGround's daily backups have always been enough for me. I've always found security in those backups. All right, so as you can see right now, it says backup test has been created. And now you can see the type is now manual, because this was a backup I actually created myself. But what if you wanted to restore an actual backup? Okay, how would you do that? Let's say I wanted to restore a backup from the 5th of September, right? I'm going to come in here under actions. I'm going to click on the buttons in here, and now you can see we have options. You can restore all files and the database. You can just specifically restore only the files, specifically restore only databases, or you can just restore emails. For illustrative purposes, let me just say I wanted to restore all the files, okay? So I'll click on restore. And now right in here, you will have options. Okay, do you want to restore and replace your current files, or do you want to restore selected files that you have in your folder in here? This is, of course, a bit more advanced. So only do this if you know what you're doing. So if I wanted to select particular files, I'll simply choose the second option in here. I can go to www as an example, and then I can expand the site in here. Go to public HTML, go to WP content, and let's go to themes. So let's say, for example, I wanted to restore all the files in my themes in here. I'll simply choose the themes I wanted to restore, like that, and then simply click on confirm. Okay, that is of course for specific files. However, the regular option would be just to simply restore and replace all your current files. So I'll choose the first option in here. All right, actually, let me just go ahead and cancel. Okay, let me go back in here, restore all files and databases. Okay, you're gonna see this message saying, hey, restoring the selected backup will replace all your current files and databases. Yes, I would like to do that. Confirm. And that's basically what will happen right now. That's basically how you would restore a backup that you already had access to in your backend. Once again, I'm going to pause the video and wait for the backup to complete. And there you go. It says success restore has completed. I'm going to go ahead now and close. And of course, I can also view all the previous times I've restored a backup under the restore history tab in here. I can click in there. And now it can tell me that, hey, okay, you did a full backup restore and you replaced all existing files. And this was restored on the 7th of September. But the backup you restored from was the 5th of September. And that's basically how you can work with backups on SiteGround. Let's now talk about a very, very important part of websites, which is of course speed. Now with SiteGround, you have access to quite a few options and tools that you can use to boost the speed of your website. I'm going to go over here to the speed tab, and right in here we have caching and then the CDN, the content delivery network. Let me show you how you can activate the CDN first. I'm going to click on CDN. And right in here, you'll have access to two different options, the free version or the premium version. Personally, I have never used the premium version before, but I'm pretty sure that since it's SiteGround, it's actually quite good. But I'll recommend, first of all, you go with the free version first, activate caching, and if you feel like, you know what, I need a boost in even more speed, then you can try the premium CDN plan. But let me show you how you'll activate the free one. Just scroll all the way down in here. Click on select on the free. This will take you to this page in here, and all you need to do, just click on activate free, and that's pretty much it. It's very, very simple, very, very straightforward, and there it is. CDN has been enabled. And of course in here you'll have access to things like turn on the development mode. This is actually very, very important, because if you're trying to make changes on your website, maybe you're trying to change the font style or the color, things like that, make sure to always come in here and turn on the development mode so that you'll not have issues with caching. All right. And then of course in here you can always cache the purge or purge the cache as well, simply from in here. But that's it for CDN. Let me show you the actual caching feature itself. So I'm going to click on caching in here. Now by default, you'll have the Nginx direct delivery turned on automatically for you. But again, if you are making design changes on your site, make sure these is turned off. And then of course, under dynamic cache, you can come in here right now, click on actions, and simply flush the cache if you wanted to. And you also have the mem cached option in here as well, which you can also turn on, which of course I would highly recommend that you do so. So I've turned mine on. And that's pretty much it. And of course, under actions in here, you can always flush your cache if you feel the need to. But let me now show you how you can work with the SG Optimizer plugin. I'm going to go over here to my website in here. And then right in here, you can say I've got the SG Optimizer plugin, which was installed automatically by SiteGround. I'm going to click on dashboard. Let me give you a very quick walkthrough on how you would actually work with this plugin. So in here right now, you'll see some score. Environment, we have 1 out of 3, not too good. Front end, 0 out of 6, not good at all. And of course, media, 0 out of 3 as well, not good at all. How can we improve the scores? And even caching in here as well is just 2 out of 4. How do we improve this? Let's first go over here to caching. All right, so in here, dynamic caching has already been activated, but we also have file-based caching. I'm going to turn that on. And of course, also the mem cached as well. I'm going to turn this one in here as well. And that's what you need to do. And of course, right in here, you can manually purge your cache as well. For advanced users, if there are particular URLs you want to exclude from caching, you simply come in here and then you add the links in here. I'm going to cancel. And of course, you can also exclude certain kinds of post types from your caching as well. Pretty much the same process. You come in here and then you type in the kind of post type you do not want cached. And of course, you also have browser specific caching in here as well. And of course, you can also test a URL caching status by simply coming in here and adding a link and testing. Okay, so that's it for caching. What about the environment? I'm going to click in there. So what do we have in here? HTTPS enforce. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn that one as well, which might log us out. Okay, so it has logged us out. So don't panic if this happens. This is actually pretty normal. You will be logged out whenever you enforce HTTPS. Now, just to clarify, you might be thinking, but hold on a second, we actually enforced HTTPS on the SiteGround backend, right? Yes, we did. But keep in mind that just because you did something on your web server doesn't mean that the same action has been done on your site. So sometimes you need to do in both places, in your SiteGround backend and also in your WordPress website backend as well. Okay, and then in here, you can fix the insecure content. This will make sure that every file, whether it's a media file, text file, any file on your site, will work with HTTPS. I'm going to turn that on as well. And there you go. All right, in here you've got the heartbeat optimization, very crucial. Already set up for you the default and recommended statuses. I'm going to keep these options as they are. I'm not going to change anything. And of course, you've got the scheduled database maintenance, where the plugin will delete your post revisions, will mark certain comments as spam, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and simply turn that on. So all this is going to be automatic, working for us in the back end. Awesome. Next, let's go over here to the front end. Now in here, these are all standard options for caching. I'm going to go ahead and minify my CSS files, combine my CSS files, and even preload the combined CSS as well. Please, I need to mention something in here. This won't work 100% of the time on all websites, okay? So if you notice that something has broken on your site as a result of these changes, just know that, okay, I'm going to have to come back in here and turn some of these options off and then test again. There are, although it's rare, but there are situations where by simply trying to turn on any one of these options, you might end up actually breaking your site. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's for CSS. We also have for JavaScript in here as well. Again, I'm going to go ahead and turn all of these on. These are very useful. And of course, on the general, okay, we can minify the HTML output as well. Web fonts optimization, remove query strings, disable emojis, and there you go. So all these options I would highly recommend. Let's now go over here to the media, where you can do things like compress your images, and you can also convert all your images to the WebP format, which is highly recommended. So again, I'm just going to go ahead now and turn these on. Now keep in mind that I don't have any images in my media library at the time, so of course these aren't going to work, even though I'm trying to make them work. But let me just show you what would happen if you do decide to convert your images. So it says converting image 1 of 0. Well, nothing. I'm just go ahead and cancel that. Okay. All right. In here, you can lazy load your media. Very standard. Very useful way of ensuring your media loads very quickly. And of course, in here, you can set a maximum image width for the images that you upload to your media library. And that's basically it. Now I can come in here right now, do a speed test. All right. So we can choose the device type. Do you want to test from a desktop or from a mobile? I'm going to go ahead now and actually just click on analyze. So this will analyze the speed of the site. And let's see the score that we're going to get. Now, spoiler alert, it's going to be a very high score because this website is empty. There isn't that much content as such. So I expect to get a very high score. And of course, you can see right now, the Google score here is basically 99 and the page load time is 0.4 seconds. If you have actual content in your site, don't expect to get these kinds of results, okay? Basically, if you're able to get anything between 80 and 100 for your Google score, personally, I think that's actually quite good. And that's it. So if I go back to my dashboard in here, now you can see the scores that we have. Caching is 4 out of 4, environment 3 out of 3, front end 6 out of 6. Media is still 1 out of 3, but that's simply because I didn't have any images in my media library to either compress or convert to WebP. But that's how you can improve the speed of your SiteGround website. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Now let me show you how you can create subdomains and also work with the DNS zone editor. All right, I'm going to click on domain here, and we have park domains, subdomains. I'm going to click on subdomains. Now this is where you can easily create a subdomain for your site. You simply come in here right now, and then you can add, for example, let me just say blog.thewebmonkeyonline.com, and I can simply just click on create, and that's how the subdomain would be created. We also have redirects in here. All right, I can click on redirects, and right in here I can choose from 2 types. I can go with a permanent redirect or a temporary redirect. All I will need to do is to come in here and choose the path. So let's say, for example, I wanted to redirect anybody that visits the blog page or the contact page on my website. So I'll come in here right now, say /contact. All right. So if anybody goes to the webmonkeyisland.com/contact, redirect them permanently to this new site, webmonkey.com. As an example, okay, that's exactly how you would create your redirect. And of course, under the DNS zone editor, this is quite advanced, so please only make changes in here if you know exactly what you're doing. The most important record is typically the A record. It's the one you can see in here. I've got two of them. I have one for www, and then I've got one for just the webmonkeyisland.com. You can see right now that both point to this particular IP address. This is the IP address for Cloudways. Remember, I told you in the previous video that my actual domain, webmonkeyisland.com, the content is hosted on Cloudways, but the mail server is on SiteGround, and this is where I can prove that. So you can see these IP addresses right now, they point to the webmonkeyisland.com. However, there is another A record that's mail.webmonkeyisland.com. You can see right now this one points to 35.209 blah 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 blah. This is the IP address for the mail server for SiteGround. So if I wanted to make changes in here, I'll simply come in here right now, click on the edit button in here, and then I can change the IP address that I want to point my domain to. So this is how you can make very small changes with your DNS zone editor. But please, if you do have to make any sort of changes, it is best that you contact SiteGround support staff. Let them assist you with things like this, because it's very, very easy to make mistakes in these kinds of things. So that's basically how you would create a subdomain, and also you can work with redirects as well as zone editor. Thank you for watching. Let's now talk about how you can create email accounts associated with your website. And of course, this is a very powerful way of branding, projecting yourself as a professional, and this is something I would highly recommend that you do. It's always so much better when you send emails that have your website domain name, as opposed to when you send emails with Gmail or Yahoo or something like that. So how would you create an account? Very, very easy, very straightforward. Simply come down here to the email tab. You'll see accounts. You click in there, and now right in here I can add my account name, password, and then simply click on create. By the way, I had to change the domain I'm working with. Right now you can see I'm not working with a temporary domain anymore. I'm working with my actual personal blog. That is because with the temporary domains, you cannot create email accounts with them. That's why I had to change the domain. And right in here on the right, you can see the email configuration. So if you're configuring a plugin on your site for receiving emails or sending emails, these are all the credentials that you need to be able to configure the plugin. Right in here, we do have my quota. I can click on actions in here. I can do things like delete the account if I wanted to, configure the mail, change quota, change password, and of course, I can also log into my webmail. I'm going to go ahead now, click on login to webmail just to show you. I'm going to hide the emails, obviously, but I would recommend you do this because now up in here you can see the actual link to my webmail account. So in your case right now, it might be the same, it might be something a little bit different. You can simply just go ahead and grab that particular URL and you can bookmark it, so that if you wanted to ever access the mail on your website, rather than you having to go to the SiteGround back end, come in here to accounts, go to login to webmail, you can just simply go directly to that particular URL. Okay, what else do we have in here? We have forwarders. Okay, so if I wanted to forward all emails to someone else, I can simply come in here right now, add the forward all images sent to Alex at webmonkeyisland.com, and then in here I'll simply add who I'm forwarding the emails to. We also have the autoresponders as well. Very, very straightforward. I can add my email in here, Alex at webmonkeyisland, add the responder my own name, subject, hey, you know, I'm out of office, I'm on vacation, things like that, and I can add all the text in here, configure the start date, time, end date, the end time, and then simply create. And then down in here I will have access to all the autoresponders I've already created previously and how I can manage them. Same goes with filters as well. Very, very straightforward. You come in here right now, I'm going to choose Alex at webmonkeyisland, and then in here I can create my filter name, and then I can attach all necessary criteria, and then I have a range of options like I can discard the message, redirect to email, fail with message, things like that. You have access to all of those options in here. Pretty awesome. And of course, authentication. Very important. Now, in my case right now, the actual domain webboncalendar.com is hosted with Cloudways. The content is on Cloudways. However, the email server is on SiteGround. That's why in here I have this message saying that the SPF record cannot be updated, things like that. In your own case, you're not going to have this. You'll have the option to simply turn on authentication, but I do believe that by default, your email address, your email account will be authenticated. Now, please note that if it's a brand new email account, it might take several days before the account can be authenticated. So just keep note of that. And of course, spam protection, automatically it will be active by default. And then Gmail and more, this is if you want to add the Gmail accounts to your website. Personally, I've never done this before, but hey, if you want to do so, you do have the option right in here. That's basically how to create email accounts and work with email on your SiteGround account. Now, let me show you how to work with the staging, auto update, as well as the search and replace functions. On the staging, this allows you to create a copy of your website, and this is useful in certain situations where maybe you wanted to test out something, maybe you wanted to install a new plugin or update a plugin on your site, but you're afraid it might break something, so you want to test it out on an experimental site. That's basically what staging is. In this case right now, I could make an exact copy of my site. So let me call this name test copy, just as an example, right? And then I'll simply come in here, click on create, and you might get this kind of message. It's fine, just click on confirm, no problem. This, of course, how long this will take will depend on how much content you currently have on your site. Mine is practically empty at this point, so this shouldn't take too long at all. I'm going to keep the recording going because I don't expect this to take any longer than an additional 5 seconds maybe. And okay, and there you go. So you can see right now the stage test copy has been created. It's right here. So now I can click on test copy. This will open up in a new tab the exact copy of my site, but now you can see it says staging 2 and of course my temporary domain. So right now I can log in here, install any plugins, update any themes, do whatever I want, just to see how it would actually affect my real website if I was to implement those exact same changes in there. So that's exactly how you would work with staging. And of course, from here, now that I have my copy, I can come in here right now, I can custom deploy it, I can do a full deploy, I can destroy, replicate, rename. I have all these options available for me. Now for Migrator, I'm actually going to show you how to work with this option in the next video. Let me go over to auto update. Now, SiteGround offers you the ability to automatically update your plugins as well as WordPress updates. Right here, you have major release as an example, right? So after 24 hours of a major release, SiteGround will automatically update the WordPress installation on your site. You have other options like immediate, 48 hours, 72 hours. Now, the thing is, I would actually recommend that you delay this update for as long as possible. So either go with 72 hours or in other cases, maybe 48 hours, but 72 hours is I would say is usually the best, because the thing is, sometimes if there is a major update with WordPress, it might break something on your site. Now, the WordPress developers would be aware of this because other people will make the same complaint that, hey, you know, I updated my WordPress installation, it broke this, blah, 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 blah. And the WordPress developers are typically very quick to respond to such issues. They will release another update to fix whatever issues caused by the first major update. So I would recommend that you delay the update of major releases for as long as possible. Same goes with minor release as well. I'll just say 72 hours, okay? And then for the plugins, I'll just turn this off, to be honest with you. I'll recommend that you manually update your plugins instead. It's much safer that way. And of course, you have search and replace. And of course, in here, you can search for whatever you want to replace and then simply type in the text that you want to replace what you're currently trying to change. That's basically how to work with these options. So jump in the next video where I'll show you how to work with the migrator feature. So now let me show you how you can transfer a WordPress website on another web hosting company over to SiteGround by making use of the migrator tool. Now this is the actual website here. You can see it's hosted on Cloudways. Let me take you to the link right here. You can see it's Cloudways. It's a temporary domain in there. So let's say I wanted to transfer this website on Cloudways over to my account on SiteGround. How will I do this? Now, this would only work on an empty installation of a website. So the temporary domain I created previously that we've been working with, I already installed WordPress on it, so it's not going to work. So let me just go ahead and create another temporary domain just to show you how you can migrate websites. So I'm going to click on temporary domain in here, click on continue. And now from here, we have the migrate website. I could go from here, but let me just show you how you would do so from the actual back end. So let me just go ahead, click on skip and create empty site, click on finish. And as always, I'm going to wait until the site has been created, and then I'll resume the video. Alrighty, the site has been created. So from here, I'm simply going to go straight to the site tools. Okay, and of course this will take us to the backend that we're already very familiar with. So from here, I'm going to go over here to WordPress, come down here to Migrator, and now I'll simply go ahead and generate a token. So I'm going to click in here, generate the token, and this is the token right here. So I'm going to go ahead now, click on copy. Okay, now I've copied the token. I'm going to go to the site on Cloudways. And I'm going to go to the SiteGround Migrator plugin right here. I'm going to click on the link in here. Okay, and now it's saying, okay, where is the token? I'm going to go ahead now, paste the token in there. And now I can add my email in here. By the way, I would highly recommend that you provide a valid email in here, just so you can receive updates on the migration, so that in case anything goes wrong, you'll be able to find out what it is. So I've added my email in there. And then I'm just going to go ahead now, click on start migration. And that's pretty much it. So, and there you go. Site domain to be changed to Alexandria 53. Yes. I'm going to click on continue. Transfer started. Transfer request has been sent to SiteGround. Starting file download. 4 out of 20 files. Pretty straightforward. Very, very, very easy. And there it is. Downloaded 20 out of 20 files. This shouldn't take too long. All right, file download has completed. Starting site migration. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to stop talking and simply resume once the migration has completed. And there it is. So you can see right now it says the data transfer has been complete. And there is a temporary URL valid for 48 hours. Now, because of course we've transferred domains over to SiteGround, it might take a while before the domain now points to the SiteGround server, but now you can see it's actually updated fully. So ns1 siteground.net, ns2 siteground.net, and of course I can click on the temporary URL in here. And again, just to verify, you can see this is the website here on Cloudways. And now you can see the temporary URL generated by SiteGround is going to have the exact same content as I do on my Cloudways website. Let's just wait for this to load, and there it is. You can see right now I have the exact same content right here on my SiteGround account. Let me try to see if the transfer is actually completed. So I'm going to go direct now to my temporary domain. Oh, and it's actually completed already. Wow, that was actually very, 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 very fast. You can see that the migration has completed because of the background. The background color is exactly the same as what we have here on the Cloudways website. Let me just confirm. That it's actually the exact same content. And there it is. You can see the exact same content on the Cloudways website is now over here on SiteGround, because we successfully migrated the website from Cloudways over to SiteGround. So that's exactly how you would do the transfer. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. To conclude, let me just show you a few more features and settings under the SiteGround back end. On the site, you have access to the MySQL and PostgreSQL. I don't want to spend time talking about this because this is a bit advanced for the scope of this particular lesson. But all the same, I wanted you to know that this is where you can access your MySQL databases. You have access to all the users in here. You can configure remote access in here as well. And also the PHP MyAdmin link is right here. You can access the admin directly, and from here you can make all sorts of changes to your databases. Going back to the backend in here, you have your statistics where you can see things like the amount of traffic you're getting. So in here, I'm using a different domain in here. It's a domain that's a little bit popular. I use it for one of my courses. So you can see right now I've gotten 264 unique periods, 64 unique visitors so far in the month of September. Page views, average number of pages per visit, bandwidth size, things like that. And of course, I've also got the error log, but as you can see, no errors at all. And of course, the access log in here, I can take a look at every single person that has tried to access this particular site. And of course, last but not least, we do have the devs link in here where you can do things like create Git, cron jobs as well. You've got your PHP manager, your secure shell keys manager as well. For the PHP manager, very, very useful actually. In here, for your live sites, you can choose, okay, do you want standard PHP or the ultra fast PHP? I would recommend that you consult SiteGround first before you make this switch. Just because something is ultra fast doesn't necessarily mean it's always the best in every kind of situation. So the default is standard PHP. This is the safe option, but in certain situations, ultra fast PHP might just be more beneficial for you. But again, I would highly recommend you contact SiteGround first before making that change. And of course, in here, for any particular reason, if you wanted to change the version of your PHP, you simply come in here right now, and then you can change the version manually. You come in here and then choose whatever version you want to change your PHP to. And that is pretty much it for working in the back end of SiteGround. In my excitement, I completely forgot that we still have other pages besides the WordPress backend. So over here on the homepage on your SiteGround account, you have websites, which we've already taken a look at, but you've also got services. Okay, so in here you can manage your current hosting plan with them. You can add a new hosting plan. So if I was to click on manage my current hosting plan, in here I can do things like upgrade, for example, maybe to the Go Geek package, maybe even the Cloudways package if I wanted to. You've got the domains in here, which again, you can take a look at all the current domains I have on SiteGround. And you can see this one says it's expiring soon. I'll have to renew the domain name here with SiteGround. Of course, you've got your billing tab where you can add all your credit card information, affiliate as well. If you wanted to become an affiliate with SiteGround, you can come in here, create your campaign, and so on. And of course, you've also got the marketplace, where once in a while, SiteGround will actually offer you additional deals from third parties. So you can come in here and take a look at whatever you might be interested in. For example, in here, you got domain services, but then you've also got partner perks. Okay, so in here, for example, you've got some perks for tech support, WP buffs, opt-in monster, WP forms, things like that, and so on. And of course, further to the right in here, this is where you can search, get quick help, or you can view the help center. This will provide you with all sorts of documentation. You can type in your question in here. But if you feel like, hey, you know what, this isn't good enough, I actually want to speak to somebody, you've got the contact us link right in here. You go over there, choose the category, and say, for example, WordPress. Okay, I'm going to go with WordPress. I'm going to say issues with the staging tool as an example. I'm going to choose this particular website. I'm going to say it's not listed. And now finally you can see, okay, we can either go to chat or you can simply call somebody. And I'll just click on chat right now and initiate the chatting process. And then right in here under my AO, my account name, I've got my login profile, notification preferences, appearance, things like that, and so on and so forth. So there it is, we've come to the end of today's video where I've shown you how to navigate your way around the site tools of SiteGround. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, share this video with anyone who may feel might benefit from it, and just a gentle reminder, if you want to buy hosting with SiteGround, please do use my affiliate link in the box below. If you have any questions, comments, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. My name is Alex, it's been a pleasure, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.